Hello everyone, this is Katya from The Functional Horse. In today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about posture and what clues you can get about any potential issues that your horse might have from the way he chooses to stand, from the way he chooses to position his body in space. Um, Now, in this video, we will only be looking at some very basic things to look out for when trying to assess your horse. Keep in mind that all horses can stand a bit awkwardly at times, so it's important to get a general feeling for what is normal for a horse. So you can do this by making your observations on several different occasions, several different days, instead of just taking one instance of him standing in a particular way or one photo. So this is a 10-year-old, I believe she was at the time, thoroughbred mare who was initially trained to race but never made it to the track. And I think she must have been around 5 when she was retired to being a pleasure horse. Okay, so one of the first things that I notice when looking at horses is how they position their legs. So with her, we can see that she sort of has this goat on a mountain stance. So her legs are far underneath her body. So the metacarpals and the metatarsals are not perpendicular to the ground. They're kind of slanted. Now, this might not seem all that important, but we do need to keep in mind that nature always designs things in a certain way for a certain reason. And the horse's legs were designed to be perpendicular to the ground while standing still. This means less muscular effort, which in turn enables the horse to save as much energy as possible. Now, as soon as the legs aren't perpendicular to the ground, more muscles have to be working to keep the horse standing up. And because all of the muscles and all of the fascia, everything is connected, this will have a negative effect on the entire body. It will create compensation patterns, it will create tension areas, and create more issues. Another thing to really keep in mind when we think about how the horse is standing is how it's affecting the hooves. So a posture like this will have a very negative effect on the balance of the hooves, both in front and in the hind legs. Moving on, if we focus on the front end first, one thing that catches the eye is this little dip in front of the withers. So here we can see we have the withers and then we have this little dip and then the neck, instead of it being one nice smooth transition from the withers to the neck. Okay, this often indicates a dysfunctional thoracic sling. So it means that the horse is not using the muscles that are attaching his front limb to the body. He's not using those muscles to properly carry himself. And then the next thing that we can also see in the front end is some overdevelopment in this region here. We can see little fascia lines. So these are lines where the fascia is adhesed and where it's put under strain, and we don't really want those because this means that the horse is not using his front end muscles in a balanced way. So these are 2 indicators, or actually 3 indicators if you count the stance as well, that this horse is not using her thoracic sling properly. Now, if we move on to the hind end, what is very obvious here is the imbalance between the different muscle groups. So we have way too much development here in the hamstrings, so the pushing muscles, and not enough development here in the quadriceps muscle, so the carrying muscles. Another thing that catches the eye here is this stifle area. So we can see that it just does not look quite right. And this often happens when we have an imbalance between the inner thigh muscles or the groin muscles and the quadriceps. These 2 muscle groups have to be balanced in order for the stifle to function properly. And if they are not balanced, then the stifle is literally pulled out of alignment, which can lead to sticky stifles, to locking patellas, and eventually to inflammation, to pain, and issues in the stifle. Another thing that indicates groin tension in this horse is this line over here. Some people like to call it the ulcer line, because some say that a line here indicates or can indicate hindgut ulcers. Now, I'm not sure if there has been any research done on that. I don't think there has. But what this line does indicate is excessive tension in the ventral line and in the abdominal muscles, and tension in those areas can often come about due to ulcers. So there is much more that could be said about this picture, but here are just some basics that you can observe with any horse. So now you can go out and observe your horses. So let's just run through all that again. So are the legs perpendicular? Do we have a wither dip? And are there fascial lines visible here in this area? And then in the hind leg, what we said is we need to look at hind end muscle balance. Another thing that we want to keep an eye out is how the stifle area looks like. And one more thing that we can notice is the ulcer line. Okay, so here are some very basic things to observe in posture. If you go out, observe your horse and see he has some of this or all of this, it might be time to contact your equine body worker, have a checkup, and see how you can help the horse find better, healthier posture. So in the next video, we will be discussing how to go about fixing this type of posture. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.